Okay, let me share my screen. There we go. All right, welcome everyone to week 2. In this class, we will be going over some basic UI components and layouts. So you'll learn how to make dynamic layouts. Mic is cutting out. Uh-oh, that's not good. Give me a minute. Is my mic better now? No? All right, let me try rejoining. Hello? Is it good now? Yeah, it's good now. Okay. Let me start my stream again. There we go. Is it still good? Or is it just because of my stream? Loud? If it's too loud, you can... That's weird that it's loud. If it's too loud, then yeah, you can just right click on my profile and just turn it down. All right. And if you hear me double, make sure to mute my stream, because that's where that is coming from. That's weird. I was just on a Discord call and I don't think they had that issue. So that's weird that it's doing it here. If you hear me twice, then mute my stream, because my voice also comes through the stream. Hello, Prim. All right, so basic UI components and layouts. If you guys haven't seen, I posted something in the class resources channel. It is another document, which is this one. Do you get gold stars if you do good? You'll get a cookie. You happy? Okay, so if you've read this document, it basically explains everything that we're going to be talking about in this class. So we'll be starting with some UI components like a text field, images, and panels. So let's get started with that. If you guys don't know, or for whoever doesn't know, to open up your previous project, you just go to Unity Hub. Wait for that to load. My mic is bad? Is it really? Is it really that bad? I don't understand how. Because I was just on a different call and it was completely fine. Is it just because this is a stage channel it's being done? Unplug, replug, wire. Hello? I just unplugged and replugged it. It's still here. It's worse? Oh no. It's a little better. So many mixed answers. It's worse. Oh no. I don't know how we're gonna fix this. It only happens when I talk loud. Restart Discord it completely? Okay, hold on. Hello? Is it better now? Probably not. Oh, it is? So it was just Discord. Okay, that's so weird. Okay, anyway, let me start my. Is it not just because of my stream? Because the stream is now not started yet. Let's see what happens if I start my stream. Hello? Is it still good? Is it because of the stream? What? That's an issue. Hmm. Is it still bad with the stream on right now? Yeah. Oh boy. That's weird that it didn't do it the last class. Lower the quality of the stream? Okay, I just lowered the quality. Is it better now? Nope. Still. Oh my god. Well, that's a little annoying. Try a normal VC. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me start my stream. Okay, how is it now? Is it still bad? Is it better? It's better?
Try like talking.
Hello?
No.
No, it's still bad.
It's not
No,
like
it's
it's
better.
unbearable. It's just there's a crisp below you, that's all.
That's
Not
so
bad.
weird.
Do you know what I mean though when it sounds like your mic's halfway out and you can keep hearing it like reconnect? It sounds like that. It's like just very buzzy, but it's like bearable.
That's so weird. Oh my god.
Nova.
I think some people were just complaining. It's really not that bad.
Yeah, like it's annoying.
I
but
give that dick, I don't take it. Oh wait.
Oh!
You're nappy.
Whoever just played that, you do know that Trunks will be able to hear that on the recording.
It was Mr. VR, for anyone who was wondering.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. It's just annoying.
give
That's
that
it.
dick,
Like,
I don't
you can
take
deal
it.
with it if you use your ears and be careful. And if you miss
Yeah,
it,
no, it's
Yeah.
fine.
look back on the recording after. And
Also,
just clear.
DJ,
Yes.
go to channel settings. Nobody can talk.
No, that's boring then.
And
Okay, that was loud.
I mean, it's really easy to turn off soundboard.
I mean, if it's bearable, we can just go back to the class channel.
We can.
Oh god, that was bad. There's like bits so
Yeah, it like lowered
Like,
hundreds.
but then there's
in audio.
bits where you like your bitrate goes.
Is
What
That's
about
so
you just
weird.
it's your
stream?
router. It's your router is like blowing up right now.
DJ,
What if I do this? Is it better now?
try speaking a little bit. Yeah,
Oh.
try speak a little bit
Whoa.
quieter.
Wait,
Yeah, I think that
DJ,
fixed it.
read the fitness pacer test.
Is it better now?
It's
Yeah.
so much better.
Fitness grade pace.
What the fuck?
There's a lot of settings in Discord where like that like quote unquote enhances mic quality, but it tends to actually make it a lot worse. So I don't know.
So I sound better
Maybe you
now,
could
right?
turn off
Wait, you had
sound
noise
like-
suppression on?
GPU
No,
processing.
yeah, I do have that on.
Don't don't.
Turn off hardware acceleration.
Because as soon as you turn that on, then it starts trying to mute the audio from your stream. Noise suppression's wank. Genuinely.
Okay, hold on. There, it's off now.
Read messages from the chat or something. Just so you're like saying things.
If that doesn't work, it's just Discord being Discord unless you don't have your stream
Yeah, you're
settings
so much
set up
better.
correctly. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we go back to the class channel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everyone can talk here.
We should be good.
All right. Now that that's fixed, we can finally get started. Let's hope it actually works in this channel. Okay, do I sound good? Are you guys able to hear me? Yes? Okay. Cool. So, it's still there when I speak loud. So, you're saying we just need to do this in ASMR? Flo, we are not doing an ASMR lesson. We are not going to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna try to speak somewhat lower. Okay. Okay, so the Unity Hub has loaded up and we see our project in here, so we can just click on it to open it. Oh yeah, there might be a Rec Room Studio update. Uh-oh. Brim, why do you keep saying tingles? What is that? What? Yeah, Mr. Ink, you can, especially if you have multiple projects, it's a lot easier to open it from the hub because you can only open your recent project from the studio launcher, not any project. My mic just fixed itself? Oh, so I can talk loud? Oh, okay. Interesting. Uh-oh, update. I might just not do it for now. Otherwise we're gonna be here for like half the class updating. Okay, so we're in our project now. Very cool. Let me open up this document. So we're first gonna be taking a look at text field, images, and panels. So first, a text field. So to do that, we first need to go into our canvas. So we can select it in the hierarchy and or in the project down here in the assets. Just double click to open and we're back in the prefab editor. So now I want to add a text field somewhere. To do that, we can go on the background that we have, right click it, and then go to UI, and then input field, text mesh pro. then you'll see that we have a very small text field. We can position that anywhere we want. I'll just drag it down a little bit. For now, it doesn't really matter where we place it. As you can see, it has the default like Unity UI look to it. If you want to change that, you of course can. You just have to, let's see here. So the input field has an image in your inspector. If you want to change that, you can go into the UI shapes that I gave you guys in the last class. And if I wanted to have rounded corners, I just get the box rounded and drag it into the source image right here. And you'll see it's got a weird rounded look to it. If I want to make that a little bit bigger, you can always go to the pixels per unit multiplier and increase that value to make it a bit nicer. And then of course you can also change the font or however you want the text to look. You can make it bold, you can make it a different font. In my case, I'll just make it bold and not italic. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then I just want to make mine a little bit bigger. If there's any questions while I'm explaining this, just feel free to put them in the chat. Yes, you will be learning how to like integrate with in-game circuits. Prim, please keep questions related to the class. Alright, so to make this a little bit bigger, we can use the RectTransform options. So we can set the height and the width. Pages will be in this class. Alright, so for the width, I'm just going to make it the same size as the button, which is 300 by 100. So let's do that. There we go. And then the text needs to be a little bit bigger and centered. So I'm again just going to look at the button text size, which is 40.8. And I'm just going to set that. There we go. And then set the alignment to be centered vertically and horizontal. Maybe not horizontally. Now we have a text input field. This will allow us to enter text. So we will be able to type something. And we're going to be using this to set the text of this title. So in the last okay, that's all good. So in the last class, we made it so that when you press this button, it sets the text to your name or anything you want really. But now we are going to make it so that button sets the text, the Art of UI design, to whatever we enter into the text field. How to make a search bar? Kind of. That's kind of like this, to be honest. Yeah, you would have to use circuits, but we are going to be using some circuits for this as well. Actually, that I don't. Yeah, you don't really have to use circuits for what we are going to be doing here, but you can, which is what we will be doing, so that you also get to see how some events work and functions. So we now have the text, the input field, and the button. So to set up an event that fires two in-game circuits from the button, we select the button, then scroll down in the inspector to the on-click events. The one that we had from the last class, we can remove it, and then we can make a new one. If you want to make it so that it fires an event to circuits, all you have to do is where it says the object, you need to input the main object. So in this case, for me, that is game object. And then for the function, we select rec room object and then send circuits event. And then we can name it whatever we want. So in my case, I'll just call it button click or button press, whatever you want to call it. All right, so now when we press the button, an event called button click will fire in game. And then we can set up a property, and a property basically allows you to get certain data from Studio, pretty much. So to set up a property, go to the main, the parent object. So in my case, game object. Then in the inspector, on the Studio object component, we can add a property. And you can give that a name, anything you want. In my case, I will be calling it input text, for example. Can you screen share real quick? Sure. Let me invite you to the stage. There you go. How do you catch up? Oh, you just got here. Okay. You're gonna want to add a input field, which you can find yeah, Prim, the whatever people are sharing won't be recorded. Okay, so oh, elevator music? Bubbles. Bubbles, where are you hearing elevator music? And yeah, if you're not if you're behind a bit, you can after the class you can watch the recording to catch up. Bubbles was just in an elevator. Alright, let me start my screen again. There we go. Alright, so properties. So we've added a property. I've called it input text. Then it's asking for an object. So in my case, I will go into the input field and then text. So I will grab that and drag it into the property. And then we can choose what property we want to get. So in this case, we want to get the text value. So I'm going to go into Text Mesh Pro, and then there should be, you'll see that everything is categorized per type. So color, float, int. In this case, we want a string, because a string is a text value. And then we want to get the text. So this will give us a property chip in game that will allow us to get the text value from this input field. So then there's one last step to make this work, which is we need to be able to set the text to that input field value. To do that, we need a function. So we can open up Studio Functions right here and add a new function by clicking the plus button. Then we can call it pretty much anything you want. In my case, I will be calling it set title text, for example. Then we need to add an input port because we need to input what the text will say. So where it says input ports, we can click the plus, and then we can name that port. Yeah, we can name it that port anything you want. In this case, I'll just call it text. And then we need to set the type. So there's quite a few types, but in this case, since we want to set the text, and text is a string type, so we set it to string. Bubbles, you can watch the videos as long as you're like up to date at the end, because you'll have to do a project at the end, which you'll need to know everything from every class that we've done. All right, so now, since we now have the input ports, then we need to add an instruction, so which is basically telling what the function needs to do. In this case, we want to set the title text. So we go in the hierarchy to the text, this one, that's my title. We drag that one into the instruction, and then we can choose a method. Now, there are a lot of methods. In this case, we want to set the text. So we go to Text Mesh Pro, and then you'll see a bunch of letters. They're all categorized alphabetically. So we want to set the text. Now, set text starts with an S. So down here, the S, you'll see a lot of set texts. Oh, actually, that's the wrong one. We want text set. So, which is in here, text and then set. That one allows you to set the text with a string value. So we choose that one. And then it asks me to enter. You got lost on a part and you don't know how to continue. All right. So we can enter pretty much anything we want, but since we want to use the input port, we need to change this to the input port text that we called it. And that will allow us to set it to what we input. Now this should be all set up. So what I'm going to do is save by pressing Ctrl S. And then we can test it. So I'm going to load up Rec Room. Is everyone else here able to follow along? Yeah? Okay. Okay, remember, if there's any questions while I'm explaining, don't be afraid to ask. President Icor? What? Oh, you've been updating. Oh my god. I hope this update is not gonna take long. Oh, there it goes. Okay, that should be fine. President of the world. Damn, that's something. Yeah, Prim, I didn't want to bother installing Steam on this VM. So I just got the Rec Room launcher. I'm not paying anything. This is just a local VM. $2,600. Damn. You don't want to know my number. Let me check what mine is. I've got 8,500 hours. What is this launcher doing right now? It says it's done, but nothing's happening. It's stuck in 2022. Ah, there we go. Yeah, Prim, I wish they added studio in dorms, but they're still not going to. I think yesterday or the day before there was an open hours in the studio Discord. I joined it and someone asked about it because they are updating the dorms, but it's still not gonna be possible. Well, it's not really because of the studio team. It's more so that the way that like how dorms are built, it wouldn't work or something like that. They said something like that. I don't know exactly, but it was something along the lines of that. All right, I can now test it. Oh, actually, oh no. Please let me cancel. Probably not gonna let me cancel. Yep. I forgot one thing. Alright, so I'll just kind of show what I forgot. Oh no, not this again. Okay. So we made the event. Why does my UI look like that? What? I'm so confused. Isn't this like the old UI? This is the old UI, right? Wait. What is going on? It looks like a a mix of the new and the old. Yours the same? Wait, Flo, yours is the same as mine? Interesting. Anyway, so when we press the button, it should send an event, but that event should show up on here, but it didn't because I forgot to do one thing, which I'll show you guys now. For that to show up, you have to select your objects and then in your inspector, press Update Object Board. And then you'll see it updated, no warnings, so that's good. And now it should have those ports on it. Basically, anytime you add a property or a event, you'll have to update it so it actually shows it. So I'll press test again. Yeah, the manipulate option in Rooms 2.0 is, I think, a split test. So some people have it, some people don't. Oh, here we go again. Okay, so now you'll see we have button click and the input text, which currently is nothing. But if we click on this and then type hello, you'll see it says hello. Now let's make it so that the title gets set when we press the button. For that, we made a function, and functions, they show up in studio functions. So if we look for studio, we should find the studio function. I'll just place that right there. Now, when we configure a studio function, you'll be able to choose what function you want to use. So we made the set title text function. And if we choose that, you will see that we now have the input port that we added. So we can connect that to the input text. There's actually two ways to do this. We've got the input text on this board here, but if you don't have that, there is actually a chip, which is studio object get property. There's a lot of them, pretty much for every port type there is one. In this case, we want the string. So studio object get property string. If we get that one, and then connect the studio object to there. And then the property was called input text. But then you'll also see that we get hello. So there's two ways to do this, either from there or here. So now on the function, we just need to connect the studio objects, this one. Can you set the text to whatever you want using Rec Room circuits? Yeah, pretty much. And you'll see that right here. So now that we have this hooked up, it should work. So we typed in hello, and if we click the button, the text changes to hello. And if I type hello world, for example, click the button, and it changes to hello world. So that's how you can use an input field. Nuku, yeah, if you hear an echo, just mute my stream, because the stream is also from the recording that will be uploaded later. So that's why you hear my voice on the stream too. So just mute my stream if you hear my voice on there. Alright, so this is working. Now we're going to move on to the next part. Images, we've kind of already talked about this in the last class, but I'll just show it a little bit more in depth. So first we go back into the prefab, and then we want to add an image. So to add an image, we just right click on our background, go to UI, and then image, it's the top one. Then you'll see we just get a white box. We can just place it anywhere we want. And then in the inspector, you'll see source image. And that is the image that will show up. Currently it's set to none. So if it's set to none, then you'll just get a box, which is just the color that it says here. You can change the color to whatever you want. So let's say we want to add an icon. I'll just go find an icon. I usually use Flat Icon. I think that's a very good website. So let's just find a random icon. Let's do a thumbs up. A thumbs up icon. Where is it? There we go. Now, here's a very important thing. You'll see currently this icon is black, but the issue with UI, make sure to smash that like button. The issue with UI is if you have an icon that is any color other than white, you won't be able to sort of change the color of it. Like, for example, if you take one of my UI shapes here, right? For example, the box rounded, you'll see it is white. If I put that in this image here, it is now the box rounded. And because this one is white, it allows me to change the color in the inspector right here to anything I want. You can also do that with image, but in pretty much any image you can get. So including icons. So over here, this one is currently black. That will not let us change the color if it's black. So we want to make sure it is white. Now I'm gonna need to log in real quick. I'm just going to not show that. Or actually, I can just go to white thumbs up icon. Oh, Bing. I don't like Bing. Just use Google. White thumbs up icon. These are not white. Oh, here's a white one. Is it actually a PNG? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. What's my main language? It is Dutch. So we have a thumbs up icon. We can drag that into our assets. There we go. That looks very weird. Can you change the color of button functions? What do you mean by that? Do you mean the studio function chip? Like the color of, or the color of the button? Yeah, you can change the color of literally anything. Like the button, if you just click on the button, you'll again see the color option here. You can set it to anything you want. All right, back to the thumbs up. So we just imported this thumbs up, but Unity doesn't know that it's for UI. So it's not going to let us use it for UI. So we need to specify that it is for UI, so it'll let us use it. To do that, in the inspector, we can set the texture type to Sprite, 2D, and UI. And then at the bottom, click Apply. And now you'll also see that it looks a bit more normal. Now to set this image as the thumbs up, we just click on the image and then in the inspector, drag the thumbs up in there. And now we have a thumbs up. And as you'll see, since the thumbs up is white, we can change the color to anything we want. So that is how you can add images. Are there no questions so far? What's your question, Nuko? I mean, Prim, there's still quite a few people in here. What if you want a background behind the image? Wait, what? Yeah, what do you mean, Nuku? So do you mean like if you click an image, something will happen? That's not possible. You'll have to use a button for that. But you can put an image inside of a button. And you can just remove the text from the button. So for example, if I want to make a like button, I can just duplicate my button right there. And then I can remove the text. So I'll delete that. And then my like or thumbs up, I can put that inside the button and then move it over the button. There we go. If I want to make it centered, just change the accent Y in the inspector. And that is pretty much a like button. Of course, I can make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah, or you can just make the button sprite the Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much how you can do that. And I just accidentally moved the gradient. There we go. Okay, so if there's no other questions about that, we can move on to panels. Now a panel, like I said in the last class, panels and images are not very different from each other. In my opinion, they're not even different at all. Because if I have a panel, you'll see it is just an image, just a little bit transparent. So it's not very different from an image. But what we are going to be doing with these panels, we're going to have different pages for different things. So for example, you have a shop, a settings page, and you want to be able to switch between them. That's what we're going to be doing now. So to do that, I will quickly get rid of most of the things that I have in my scene here, except for the button, because we want to keep that one. Yeah, switching between different pages is pretty much just disabling and enabling pages. That's pretty much how it works. So you are correct, Prim. So all I have left is just my button here. I'm gonna change the color of it to be a little bit darker so it's a little bit more visible. There. And I'm just gonna move it up here. I'm basically going to make it like this is like a toolbar or a page switching bar or just a menu bar, pretty much. So I want two buttons because we're going to have two pages. So there we go. To duplicate a button, you can just click it and then press Ctrl D on your keyboard. That will duplicate it. So we've got two buttons. Let me just name them both. So page 1 and page 2. Now we want to make the pages. So we get a panel. And as you can see, the panel now overlaps the buttons. We don't want that, so we will make the page a little bit less tall. And in the page, so we can actually see if the page changes. Oh, hold on, Mr. Ink. What do you mean? You don't understand how you make Yeah, if something, if you're behind a little bit, you can watch the video after. You can also send me a message after. That's no problem. Yours is like that. The whole stream has just froze. I can try to restart it real quick. There we go. Hopefully that's better. Okay, so to make sure that we are actually changing the pages, I'm going to put something in these panels, like some text. So just right click the panel and then add some text into it. I'm going to make that text black and set it to like page 1. There we go. The final project, you can make anything for the final project as long as it includes everything you've learned in these classes, which there will be, I'll probably make a document that sort of tells you what needs to be in the final project. So don't worry about that. That is very big. Okay. I was just going to make it a little bit bigger, not that big. Right, so we've got page 1, and then I'm just going to duplicate this panel and change the text to page 2. But now, if you look closely, both pages are kind of here, because you can see the 1 through the 2. We're going to fix that right now. But first, these panels, their names can be improved to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. So we're going to call the first page page 1 and the second page page 2. And then we're going to disable both of these. So we can select them both, and then in the inspector, in the top left, you'll see a little check mark. Just uncheck that, and now you'll see that they're both gone. That will make sure that we can just switch between them using the buttons and they don't show up through each other. So let's set up the buttons. So the first button, if we scroll down to the events, we can remove this old event and make a new one. As for the object, now we want actually 2 events, because we want to enable one page and disable the other. So for the first object, I will drag in page 1. And for the second object, I will drag in page 2. If you have more pages, you can add as many as you want here. You'll just have to drag in all of those. And then for the function, we're going to use game object and then set active, because we want to set them active or not active depending on what page we want. So we will do this for both of them. And then since this is the page 1 button, we want to enable page 1 and disable page 2. It's that easy. now we just need to do the same for the other button. So I'll just drag in page 1 and page 2 again. Set the functions to set active. And then enable page 2. That is pretty much it. Are there any questions about this so far? ING. Yeah, don't worry. The recording will be up right after the class. Do buttons work differently on scroll menus? Not really, no. They'll just work like a normal button. Consumables with UI probably not this week. This week is pretty much all about UI or layouts, I mean. I just got an error. What was that error? Oh, right. Since we don't have the function anymore, I am gonna have to remove that one. And now it should allow me to test. Oh, I mean, we will go over the scroll menus in a future class, so. Studio update again. Okay, here's our UI. And if we click on page 1, you'll see we get page 1, and page 2 shows us page 2. Very easy. So that is how you can make different pages. The previous UI, like from class, the first class, that one isn't really needed anymore. That one was mostly just to show you how some components work. You'll probably see the UI change a lot through every class because of me showing off different components and stuff. Okay, so now we have a UI that can switch to different pages. The next thing is lists and layout components. There's a bunch of... Oh, hold on. Where they appear to stay pressed. Yeah. That is normal. I think I have that. Do I have that too here? Yeah. You'll see that the pressed one is slightly darker than the other one. There isn't really any way to fix that, really. What you can do, if you go to one of your buttons and scroll down to the button, here you can change what colors it will show for like when you hover over it, which is highlight, then when you press it and then select. Now the pressed color and the selected color, or yeah, the selected color is after you have pressed it, I'm pretty sure. And as you see, that one is a little bit darker than plain white. What you can do is just change this to be the same color as your normal color. That would be a fix, I guess. All right. So yeah, layout components. There are quite a few different layout components. In this case, I'll show you a horizontal layout component because we can use that for our menu bar here, our navigation bar. So first we want to make a navigation bar. To do that, I'll just create an should I do an empty? I'll do a image. So I'll make a new image. I'll make that slightly darker so we can see that that is a different part of the UI. And then I want it to be at the top. So if I wanted to align at the top, I can choose either this one, which will make it align at the top, or if I wanted to stretch all the way from the sides, it's much easier to use this one because that will just allow me to set the left and right spacing. So if I set both of those to 0, you'll see now it's exactly the width of our menu. And then I want to set it to the top. So since I've selected it to align at the top, I can just put in 0. But you'll see that it's still halfway off the UI. To change that, we need to change the pivot point. And in this case, we want to change the vertical pivot point, which is the Y. So we can set that to 0. And then you'll see it says -49. If we now set it to 0, oh, actually we need to set the pivot to 1, the Y. It's always a little bit fidgeting with these settings. But yeah, now you'll see that it is nicely aligned at the top. And then we can just increase the height if we want. That is very high. I'll just set it to 150. And now we've got a top bar. Now if we want to add our buttons into it, because our buttons are currently underneath this bar, we just select the buttons and put them inside that image. I'm also going to call this image the nav bar real quick to make it a bit easier. Okay. Now to make this a horizontal layout, we can click on the navbar, and then in the inspector we can add a component. Now if we search for horizontal, you'll find the horizontal layout group. If we select that, you will instantly see that your buttons will automatically position themselves. They will always position themselves equally. So if I add another button, you'll see they will instantly change to be perfectly aligned. Now they're currently aligned to the left and the top, which is not really what we want. So we can go through the settings of this horizontal layout group and play around with it. Like, for example, if you want it to be just centered, you can change the child alignment to middle center. And now you'll see it is nicely centered everywhere. You can also make it to where the buttons change size according to what this navbar size is. So we can say, oh, I want the buttons to always be the same height as the navbar. Then we can turn on the control child size height. If we wanted to also take the width, then we can do that. But now you'll see the buttons are very close together and they're very tall and not very nicely lined out. We can add padding if we open up this padding menu here. That will allow us to add spacing to the left, right, top and bottom. So let's say I want 50 spacing on the left and 50 on the right. And then maybe 25 at the top and 25 at the bottom. You'll already see that they now are much nicer aligned. And we can even put spacing in between the buttons. Let's add 50. And there we go. We've got two nicely aligned buttons that, even if we add another button, automatically get aligned. So if I duplicate one of the buttons, you'll see it automatically aligns them. Very nice. So that is what you can do with horizontal layouts. There's also vertical layout groups, which work pretty much the same. And then there's also grids, which you'll see here, grid layout group. I'll just quickly go over the grid, what that can do. So if I enable one of my pages, page 1. Now in page 1, let's say I want a grid of different things. I can add an image into my page, and this image, I'll make it nicely rounded. There we go. and I will make it red, just so you can see what's going on. Now, on the page, I can add a component, which is the grid layout group. And you'll see it automatically aligns it to the top left. But you can change this, of course, to be anywhere you want. Now you can set the size of your image like this. So let's say 200 by 200. And now if I just add more images, it automatically puts them in a grid. We can also say, let's say we only want 3 images per row. If we want that, then we can set the fixed row count as a constraint. So it automatically set it to 2, but if we enter 3, then it doesn't do it for some reason. Oh, wait, we have to set the column to 3. Yeah, there we go. So that is how you can use a grid. You can also change the spacing, of course. This is the spacing between every item. Prim. You just have to sign up for it. And not last minute. True. But this is not related to the class, so ask me this in DMs. Alright, I'm just gonna make this nicely centered. There we go. So that is how you can dynamically align things using layout components. Are there any questions about layout components? Prim, anything I teach here is literally just random. I don't have a script or anything. It's oh, the design. No, the design is also just random. I'm just coming up with this on the spot. This design. Yeah, pretty much all I have for these classes is before the classes, I write one of these nice documents that you guys also can see in the class resources channel. And I just go off of this. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all for this class. I'll just save this and run it again so you can see that it works. Yeah, we've got 25 minutes left. This was a quick one. I guess those 25 minutes can be used for if anyone is having issues or has questions, I can answer them and help out if needed. All right, so it loaded, and there is our nice grid and our pages. They still work. How do you set an image to a certain texture or image on UI? By using circuits, do you mean? Like events? Like when you press a button, it changes a texture? Flow, yeah, I'll go over that in a future class. Okay, so I'll quickly show you how you can press a button to change an image. Let's say I want to change one of these. Oh god, my mouse. Playing Rec Room on a VM is not very doable. Okay, let's say I want to change one of these images to an image from a consumable. So I'll just quickly make or an inventory item, I mean, because consumables are not a thing. So I'll quickly make an inventory item called tests. Just take a picture. Okay, that's not possible. I'll have to upload it. I'll show that in the next class to set it to an inventory item image. For now, I'll just set it to a different image. So let's add a button somewhere. I'm just going to copy a button from the navbar and paste it right there. So that is now a button. So in your grid, you don't necessarily have to have images. You can have buttons to text, literally anything. So we have the image and a button. Now, when we press this button, we want to set the image. So I'll just name this set image. And if we scroll down on the button, then I can remove these events and create a new one. And I will put in the image, so this one. And then as for the function, I'll be choosing image. And then where is it? Sprite. Sprite. Because we want to change the sprite. Sprite is basically an image on UI. So then we can input a sprite or an image. In this case, I will just choose my thumbs up. And there we go. So now when I press this button, it will change this square to a thumbs up. Now let's save and test it out. All right, so let's click the button, and now we have a thumbs up. And you can also do that with circuits, so you can set up a function like we did earlier. Is there a way to change its color? Yes. At least there should be. Let's see. So go to the button and we can just add another event. Input the image again. And then image. Yeah, good question. I don't see a color option. But what I do know is you can do it with functions. So what we could do is make this send an event. So I will input the parent object. Then as for the function, set a send circuits event. And I will call that set image color. Then I'm going to make a function. Call that set image color. And add an input port, which I will name color. And set the type to color as well. And then we put in the image for the instruction and then image color and then set. And then set it to the input port. And there we go. Save and then make sure to update it because we added an event. There we go. And then test. Okay, so now we need to do a little bit of circuits. My mouse is being weird again. Okay, there we go. So we now have an event called set image color. And we should have a studio function. So just like earlier, we can configure it to set it to the function that we want. And then connect the studio object. And now we can choose any color that we want. So let's say I want it to be yellow. So now when I press the button, it will become a yellow thumbs up. And of course, you don't even have to do this with a button. You can activate it literally anywhere, as long as this is connected to the UI. So if I execute this now, it will become red again. Can make it green. Can do some really cool stuff with this. Does anyone have any issues that they're running into or questions? We've got 13 minutes left. That might be because of the colliders. Yeah, that's likely the issue. Yep, just silence. How to change the color? So we just made a function which is called setImageColor. You can name it anything you want, of course. But we added a input port which is a color type. And then we just added the image. And then for the function, it is image. And then the C at the top. Color. And then set. And then just choose the color input port. And that is pretty much it. Then in game, you can use this function chip to set the color. Um, okay, ng create. No, you don't need that on every element. You should just all you would need is on your canvas. You just need the canvas interaction component and a graphic raycaster and the other canvas components. But yeah, if you can load up your project and share your screen, I can help you a lot better then. Slider. Yeah, we made, someone asked, I think Flo asked, or yeah, Flo asked if we can change the color of something, of an image. So we made a function to be able to change the color. Prim, did you just now create a project? Uh, oh, the Unity layout. I mean, that's up to personal preference, right? Everyone has their own preference of Unity layout. Angie, if it doesn't load up before the class ends, we can just, I'll help you after the class. That's no issue. Yep, 3 minutes left. Are there no questions left? Does anyone want to see something, like how you do something, how you make something? Thoughts on the new RecNet UI? Could I go over the grid again? Sure. So the grid it's just a component that you can add. Here, I'll remove it. And then I'll just change these so you can see what it does. So on the page, I can add the grid component, the grid layout group, and you'll see it instantly changes how my things are shown. I can change the size of those in the grid settings, and I can change the spacing. I can change where they are located. So if I want it to be in the center, there we go. There's a couple more settings that you can play around with. But yeah, that's pretty much how grid layouts work. And then Prim quickly asked about RecNet. So personally, I'm not a fan of this whole weird big bar at the top here. I think it's kind of weird. Make an event, they just changed that. Oh, where do I even do that? Events? And then, oh, plus. Are you sure this is different? Looks quite normal to me. Oh, a lot more rounded. Yeah. I mean, everything is kind of rounded, isn't it? Yeah. Except for this for some reason. Anyway, yeah, the class is over. So I hope this class session was helpful. I hope you guys learned something from it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week in the next class. And remember, if you missed anything during this class, the recording will be up, in like 10 minutes or so. So don't worry about that. All right. I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.